All right, this week's question of the week comes from one of my students who is contemplating entering a tournament. However, they're not that good at jiu-jitsu, in their own words. They're like, I'm probably, of the blue belts here, probably the weakest link. You know, I'm not one of the best blue belts at the school. I'm interested in competing, but should I compete knowing that I'm just not at that level? And I thought it was a great question, and that's why I'm making it this week's question of the week. So, what I hope to convey that's important is that there's more to these jiu-jitsu tournaments than just winning. You know, like, there's so many advantages in preparing for a jiu-jitsu tournament besides just achieving the gold medal, just winning the championship. And so some of the things that I'll talk to you about is like, one is like the NCAA basketball tournament is a great example because, you know, you got a field of 64 or 68 teams. And, you know, like this year, I think everybody thought Duke was going to win it because they was the #1 seed. And they got eliminated last night by the University of Florida. But in every NCAA basketball tournament, there's like a 15th, 16th seed that, you know, we often call them a Cinderella because we didn't expect them to do so well, but they end up, you know, upsetting some good teams. But that 14th, 15th, 16th seed, they may do some upsets, but they're not getting the gold. You know, they're not going to win the NCAA championships. So why did they go? You know, like, why did, you know, some of these small schools go knowing that you're not going to win? And part of it is just testing yourself. Part of it is the challenge of competition. Part of it is, you know, go because, you know, you got a fighter's chance. You got a puncher's chance. You might score an upset, you know, against somebody who's actually better than you in jiu-jitsu. But, you know, it's a chess match. It's like, well, you know, they may be better, but perhaps you can get, you know, your move. And I look at it, you know, like some of the things, like when I prepare, like 2 weeks ago, I competed in the Pan American Championships. And almost every year, you know, if I'm healthy, I will try to compete in the IBJJF Pan American Jiu-Jitsu Championships and the IBJJF Master World Championship. And it's not because I think I'm going to win either one of those tournaments. I think the best I've ever done in both those tournaments is get bronze. So this year, I decided, hey, we're going to do the IBJJF Pan American Championships. And even though I know I'm not the best black belt in the world, not even close, and I'm not the best black belt in my weight class, which is, you know, usually either middleweight or medium heavy, I'm not the best. And in addition, I'm not the best at black belt even in my age bracket, you know, of 55 to 60, because I'm 56 now. I'll turn 57 towards the end of the year. I'm not the best black belt in the world in that weight class and in that age bracket. There are people that are better than me. So I went to the Pan Americans and signed up anyways. And I ended up winning my first match, and I lost my second match. And I'm very happy about the whole experience because no, I didn't get gold. You know, no, I didn't even medal this year. However, some of the benefits that I got was, one, I think when I started making the commitment about 4 or 5 months ago for the Pan American Championships, I was weighing almost, I was probably about 195, close to 200. And, you know, I wanted to lose weight, and I didn't cut weight for the tournament. I just started to really eat healthy, and I started to work out a lot, and, you know, watch, you know, what I was eating, you know, skipping the desserts, you know, skipping the beers, you know, skipping the unhealthy foods. And, you know, like I got on the scale this morning, I'm like 181. You know, like, so how can I not be happy about just that health result of, you know, no, I didn't win the tournament, but hey, you know, I lost, you know, 15 to 20 pounds of just healthy weight loss. So that's a win. Another win is your jiu-jitsu is going to get better because you're going to study more techniques, to get better for competition. Another benefit is, like when you go to the Pan Ams or the Master Worlds, you go to these tournaments, you see a lot of, old friends. I got to see different people that I competed against in the Pan Ams. I got to see different people that I've just been friends with over the years, that I've trained with, and it's almost like a family reunion. So it's a really good vibe. Win or lose, just going to do that. The other thing is, like I said, you can improve your jiu-jitsu because usually when you're training for these tournaments, you end up learning some new techniques, you drill more, you train a little bit harder. So your jiu-jitsu even gets better. So there's a lot of winning to that. And then one of the cool things about, as I was preparing for the Pan American Championships, is how many of my friends came to help me. Professor James, he lives all the way on the other side of San Antonio, and it's probably like a 45 minute drive each way for him. But he made a special trip to come over and train with me as often as he could to help me. I got Jay Jackson was coming in to train with me. Eduardo, Frankie was coming in to train with me, as well as Royal and Vitor. And not only were they training with me, trying to get me ready, trying to get me as sharp as possible, but they was also helping covering classes and sharing ideas with me, like those friendships, those connections, the time that I got to spend with my friends like that was invaluable to me. So win or lose in the tournament, those connections are wonderful. Like, not only did my jiu-jitsu improve, but it's just like I got to hang out with my friends, which was great. So my answer is, regardless of whether you think you can win this tournament or not, man, give it your best shot. Sign up, because like Michael Jordan used to say in basketball, you miss all the shots you don't take. So maybe you sign up, maybe you lose your first match in 5-10 minutes or 5 or 10 seconds. Who knows? Like, jiu-jitsu is amazing. Or maybe you win the tournament, or maybe you win a match. You do like me, you win your first match, lose your second match. But give it a shot, and enjoy it. So there's more to it than just whether you can possibly win the tournament or not. So that's my answer for this week's question of the week. Any insights, fellow competitors, fellow jiu-jitsu practitioners, man, feel free to make your comments below, share your knowledge, and till next week, ciao.